A Dinosaur Christmas by Tom Frank. John Nickerson loved dinosaurs. His little sister Emily loved Christmas. "It makes no sense," said John one Christmas Eve day. "How can you believe in something so unbelievable?" "Well, how can you?" said Emily. "Dinosaurs are not unbelievable," said John. "We know they're real because we have evidence." Emily thought about this. "You want evidence of Santa Claus? Fine. To the mall." While Mr. and Mrs. Nickerson were doing some last-minute Christmas shopping, John and Emily studied the mall Santa Claus. "Every mall has a Santa," sighed John. "Do you think they're all real?" Emily hushed John, and they watched the mall Santa sneak off and meet with two small men. He handed them a stack of papers. "Christmas lists," said Emily. "See? They must all help the real Santa." "Don't be ridiculous," said John. John and Emily spied the men from behind a truck. Suddenly, the men came their way. John and Emily hopped into the truck bed to hide, and the men started the engine. After a bit, there was quiet. "Let's look out to see if we've stopped," said John. They hadn't. When the truck landed, John and Emily peeked out. They were in Santa's compound and saw that the men were really elves. A giant courtyard in the compound doubled for a landing pad. In the center lay a huge high-tech platform where Santa was making some adjustments. "I bet Santa uses that machine to freeze time," said John. "That's how he delivers all the presents in one night." Just then, an elf spotted John and Emily. "They found us," said Emily. "Run!" John and Emily darted off and found themselves on the control booth of the time freeze machine. Emily plowed into an elf who fell onto the control panel. And then Santa, the reindeer, and 6 elves were zapped away. The elf examined the controls. "It appears we've frozen time here, but zapped everyone on the platform back millions of years." "And zapped dinosaurs in their place," said John. They went down to the platform for a closer look. "Look at that one! He's bigger than Seismosaurus. A double crest? A plated crown? It's a species that's never been discovered." "We've got to unzap the machine and get Santa back," said Emily. "We can't," explained the elf. "The time freeze machine won't unlock unless all the presents are delivered." Emily went wide-eyed. "So what are we waiting for?" Meanwhile, well, not meanwhile, since it was millions of years earlier, maybe you'd call it past while. Past while, Santa, the reindeer, and the 6 elves weren't the only ones confronted by dinosaurs. Present while, a plan was prepared. "I've explained everything to them, and they want to help," said the elf. "You speak dinosaur?" asked John. The elf nodded proudly. John, Emily, and the remaining elves harnessed the pteranodons to the sleigh, put the rest of the dinosaurs into Santa's bottomless sack, and took to the sky. The Dino Christmas Express marched forward. And forward. "We've got to hurry and check these lists again," said Emily. "Who knows what kind of trouble Santa, the reindeer, and the elves are in?" John, Emily, and the visiting dinosaurs finished the present delivery. Upon arriving at Santa's compound, they found that the time freeze machine had unlocked itself and that Santa, the reindeer, and the elves had returned. Santa walked up to the Nickerson children. "Stowing away to the North Pole doesn't quite fall into the nice category, but considering all you've done, anything you two want for Christmas this year, you've got it. I suppose the one thing I want is the one thing you can't give me," said John. "What's that?" asked Santa. "Evidence. Evidence that this all really happened. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and think this was a dream." Santa scratched his beard. "Yes, it does seem that adventures of this sort end up that way." "Do we have to send them all back?" asked John. "This new species is important. It's the biggest dinosaur ever to walk the earth." "I'm afraid so," said Santa. The dinosaurs marched onto the platform and were zapped back to their own time. The next morning, the Nickerson living room was a sea of wrapping paper. "The last present is yours," said Mrs. Nickerson as she handed John an envelope. "It's a ticket for dinosaur camp this summer. It's the closest thing you'll ever get to real dinosaurs." John thanked his family, but it just wasn't the same anymore. At dinosaur camp that summer, John trudged to his dig site and aimlessly dragged his pickaxe across a wall of dirt. Clack! He hit something. He revealed its shape as he raked away more dirt. "Look!" a fellow camper shouted. People raced over to see John's discovery. A dinosaur skull with a double crest and a plated crown. Evidence of the biggest dinosaur ever to walk the earth.